Hi guys, it's Rick from Rick's Review. I'm back with a review of a little Plex server that I built. Another Plex server that I built. I showed you how to build one earlier. I kind of gave you an idea how to build one with the NAS server. This time I decided to build one with an old computer that I had, some parts that I had laying around the house. I recently built myself a new gaming rig with i7 and a new motherboard and case and what have you. So I have my old case and I have the old parts. I decided to go ahead and build a server. It has 8 terabytes in it, so it's going to be able to hold a whole bunch of things. So I can record a whole bunch of things on there. I can have a whole bunch of videos from 2 or 3 years old and still have tons of room. So here's pictures of the server that I built. I put it out there on my workbench in my garage and I kind of threw it together haphazardly, but it works fine. It stays nice and cool. I'm going to add a couple of extra fans to it because it's going to sit in my garage. And I do want it to not go bad on me, especially since it's going to have all of my photos and all of my videos on there. But let me show you how I install the software. Okay, so what we're going to do is go to www.plex, and since I already have it here and it's on downloads, I'm going to go ahead and hit enter. But type Plex Media Server Downloads, and it'll come to a page similar to this. What we want to do is we want to download for Windows. Now, of course, if you have a different operating system, Linux, FreeDSB, this is for your NASs, but we're not going to go with NASs. We're actually going to go with the computer itself. A little bit faster. We can customize a little bit more, put a little more RAM and what have you in there. We're going to go ahead and make sure and download for Windows. And go ahead and hit download, and it will start to download for you. Now, I happen to be a customer, so mine's going to say on here, but if you're not a customer, I believe it's going to say off for you there. Okay, we got that downloaded. I'm going to go ahead and close this, and it's going to look similar to this. Double click on it, and it's going to ask you if you want to install. Okay, so now that we have it installed, these are some of the things that I have recorded here. What I did was I already transferred some of my movies over to the movies folder. And I have done several recordings over the last couple of days, making sure everything is tried out. And I have some workout videos that my wife likes to use when she goes out in the garage to work out. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to create a photos folder and a music folder. So let's go to our drives here. Okay, I'm going to come to my G drive and I'm going to right click. I'm going to come down here to new. And I'm going to left click on folder. There's a shortcut for this, but I'm not using a shortcut in this case, right? So we're going to go to music and hit enter. We got that. I'm going to create another one and I'm going to go to photo or photos. Okay. Now I got those created. Go ahead and close this out. Go back into my Plex Media server. Go into my Plex Media server and see, here we go. Plex Media Server. And I'm going to hit underneath libraries, go to plus. I'm going to go to photos and add photo. And that's going to be the folder here, right? Okay. And I'm going to hit browse media folders. And I'm going to go to F. Now let me go over this one more time, slow it down a little bit. Okay. I want to add a photos folder. That way I can drop photos in there. Photos I take with my phone or whatever the case may be of family or weddings or whatever kind of photo I want to do. I'm going to click on plus underneath it libraries. I'm going to tell it what kind of folder I want it to be. In this case, it's going to be a photos folder. And I'm going to come down after I hit photos folder. I can name it whatever I want. In this case, I'm just going to leave it as photos. And I'm going to hit add folder. I'm going to browse for that folder. I'm going to go down to my F drive because that's where I created the folders. And in this case, it's going to be photos. After you go to photos, just hit it once. Remember, just single clicking on all of this. I'm going to hit add. I'm going to hit next. And since I'm a Plex Pass customer, and I believe I pay $5 a month to be able to use the software, you can do a lifetime, purchase it for lifetime. And I believe if you purchase it for lifetime, it'll be around $120 a month, something like that, right? So we're going to go ahead and add this library. Okay, now we have a photos folder coming up here, right? Now I have no photos in that library, but if I did, I'd click on photos and all of my photos will appear here. In this case, again, I have movies folder, and kind of give you an idea, I drug all of my digital copied movies into this folder and everything appears here. So that's kind of how that works. Now, I don't have photos and I don't want to add photos at this time, so I'm going to go ahead and delete that folder. Do I want to delete it? Yes, and it is going to disappear. Now I no longer have that folder, but I do have the movies folder. So let's go ahead and watch a movie. So let's say we wanted to watch Armageddon. It's going to start playing much like you'd see it in Netflix if you had a Netflix account. It's going to start playing. You can pause it. You can fast forward it. You can do whatever you want to with it. Pause it. Go to the restroom. Get a new drink. Fast forward it. You can do anything you want to with it. And it'll play. And the faster the server you have and the more RAM you have in that server, in my case I have 16 gig in that server out there, it's going to run a little smoother. But I've run it as low as 2 gig of RAM and it runs on 2 gig. Just runs a little smoother on 16 gig. So we have that set up. We're going to go ahead and stop this now. Go back to here. And again, you can set any category of anything you want to watch. You can record shows that you want to watch. Depending on how much, depending on how much hard drive space you have, you can record pretty much an unlimited amount of things, as much as you can watch. Heck, I have shows on here that I recorded back in Christmas time. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Recorded all the way back then. And so you can, and this is something that I had from another server I brought over to this server here. So you can record things that you've had for a while, or you can have things that you've had for a while, and you can record them and it'll stay there indefinitely because it's your recording on your hardware. It'll never go away. Unlike Sling, if I cancel my account today, they give me a couple of days and they erase every single thing that I've ever recorded through them. But this is mine. This belongs to me. I have these recordings for as long as I have those hard drives, right? And again, Sling costs, I think it's around $5 a month is what they're charging me. But if you buy that lifetime pass, it's only one-time fee. I believe it's $120, give or take around that. Same thing if you buy another software, which is really good software as well. It's called Emby, E-M-B-Y, and it works very, very similar to this. The only differences that I really found between Emby and Plex, besides the GUI or the way it just looks, is the fact that Emby asks you to have a separate account with a completely separate company to be able to give you the guide and be able to look up the shows and put them in this grid like this. Plex actually adds that directly to their software. Either one, you have to pay almost exactly the same thing every month. I believe it's $5 a month, $24 for half a year, and then $100 for the lifetime pass or something like that, right? But so I found Emby to be a little simpler because with Emby, I don't have to have that separate account and pay them a yearly fee as well, which is, it's worth the yearly fee, but this saves me about $20 a year. So I think it's a little bit easier. Now, again, you have movies here. Now, if you don't like your movies, you can go down to this little pen or pencil here, click on it, and you can rename the movie whatever you want. You can change the movie poster to whatever you want. There's a whole bunch of customizations. You can change the background. And what I mean by background is, say I click on the movie. Right now my backgrounds are blank. My backgrounds are just gray. But I can change the background to put anything I want on there. This is a movie poster itself. It looks it up automatically. And if it doesn't, you can actually manually go in there. But it tells me the actors, and it gives me a little bio. If I click on it, it gives me a bio of the actors. Well, it didn't in this case, right? Great example. But it usually gives you a bio of the actors. And then, of course, it tells you what movies are related to it. And how it knows that, I don't know. This movie, Star Trek, has really nothing to do with it other than it being a sci-fi movie. And same thing with Star Wars. It kind of pulls up a small bio on the people here, and for some reason it's still not pulling them up. But it will pull it up normally. It gives you the ratings on Rotten Tomatoes and whatever this other source is here. and it gives you a little synopsis. Now you can change anything you want on here. You can tell it your own synopsis. Matter of fact, you can even, like I said, besides just changing the titles, you can even have theme music played. The theme music from Back to the Future, you can have that played in the background. It gives you full customization of just about every aspect of it, which again, I think it's a great little program. It tells you continue watching, because these are the movies that I was watching earlier, and it comes right back up. It tells you what is the most recent stuff that's been recorded, and usually it calls that on deck. Stuff that was recently added. Again, the on deck ones are going to be here, but these are the most recent things that were added to there. So, I mean, it's a pretty neat little program. If you have an extra computer and you have a few bucks to go out and buy the HdHomerun tuner, I think this is well worth it. If you want to cut cable ties, get rid of the big, the big conglomerate, DirecTV or Time Warner or whoever it is that you're using, Comcast at the time, get rid of those. This is the way to do it. But if you have any questions on how to set this up or what kind of equipment to purchase, I'm going to have the links down below, but feel free to ask me any questions that you may have. I would appreciate it, and I will get back to you as soon as I possibly can. Don't forget to subscribe, click that little bell to be notified of any future videos that I make, and give me a real big thumbs up. I'd really appreciate it. It helps my channel a lot. Until next time, if I can save you a few bucks, I will save you a few bucks.